If some of you guys don't know the definition of derealization, it is a dissociative symptom where the external world feels surreal, distant, dreamlike, or disoriented. Often described as seeing life through a fog or glass wall. So this is just, Google's definition of it, but you definitely feel like third person, right? Like, just like nothing really matters or nothing's really real or has consequences, It's almost like you want to test to see if something is real. You almost want to test the world and see if it's real, because you just feel so out of it and just out of loop. And so this video today is going to be about I guess a little bit of my personal experience with derealization and why it's happening to me and why it happens to other people. I think first of all, I want to get out of the way that the whole derealization, depersonalization kind of thing, it's not like I don't feel alive, but like something just isn't right. It's like when you're getting ready to go somewhere important and you got everything. You think you have everything you need, but you just got this feeling like you're forgetting something. This deep feeling like unknowing. This unknowing feeling. It's how I best describe it is the void. And the void feeling is something that only someone with a high level of consciousness can have. So what does that mean, right? Everyone's conscious, but like, how conscious? To definitely say that consciousness and IQ are separate. They definitely are separate, but they are connected for sure. You can have someone who is conscious of truth and the world around them, but they're not that smart, right? It's very possible to have these kind of people. But I believe, like, you can have someone who's high IQ but not conscious at all of reality, or they're not looking for truth, or they're not looking for answers, or they're not trying to ask all these questions that some of us do, or that I do. And asking some of these questions is like, it's almost like you're looking in a mirror, right? When you ask a question. But when you ask certain questions, you may get the thought of, or wondering, it's not the question itself. It is the question. It is knowing that you asked a question like that kind of makes it surreal. And someone out there will know what I'm saying when I say this. But most people probably won't. It is like asking, what is my purpose in life? Why am I alive? Right? And the question itself is what gives that void feeling. It is the whole asking the question is what gives me the void feeling, or is what the void feeling is. It is the question. It is knowing that you asked the question, not just the question itself. Right? But yeah, so IQ and consciousness are separate. But once you have someone who is high IQ and highly conscious, right, that's when you get this void feeling. And you get it any time you're not preoccupying the brain. And I'm sure someone out there will know what I'm saying. So I've been making video after video, and I'm at a certain point now where I was just like, this video isn't it. And I kind of just decided, to wing it, and I just stopped caring about how how well this video is put together, but I kind of just want to put it out there that, you know, that there's probably other people out there. You know, you're not actually going insane. Because at a time when I would be home alone, all my friends couldn't hang out, and no one's playing the game, and there's just nothing to do, and I'm bored of watching TV shows, I would just sit there and think. And thinking would put me in this void, this deep void of just vast, empty nothingness. It's just the weirdest feeling, and I hate it. Um, Ever since I've been a kid, though, I've always kind of found comfort in. Um, I've always been a negative person. Always, I've just always looked for the worst in everything and everybody, just searching for it. Um, and maybe that's like kind of a conscious thing. Always wanting to live in truth and always wanting to know the answers. But once you know the answers to so many things, you just feel so disassociated with everyone, because most people just aren't worried about finding the truth to everything. And you get put in a category where you just like, you feel so alone. And I feel like that's a problem that high conscious people have, is feeling like they're alone, like they see things and they can't point them out, or they're the weird guy in the group. You know what I mean? But um, movies and the comfort I had in movies and TV shows and video games is stemmed from just the lack of impulsive and surprise that the world has. The world just feels so boring. There's just so much nothingness. It's just gotten boring. Um, I want like some solo leveling shit. Like I want something crazy. Like I want, you know, something to live for. And not like that. Not like suicidal live for, but like I want something that makes me feel like I'm alive. Like oh my god, I can't believe I just did that. Kind of feeling. Um, and maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just my dopamine's cooked or something. I just can't fucking stand doing normal shit. But I, even still to this day, I kind of will just sit there in my, like, the shower is a huge time of thinking for me. That is a time where I get original thoughts, and it's a shower because it's a time of silence, a time of the brain isn't being preoccupied with something. That way it doesn't have to think. Because in a way, I hate thinking, because it is the pure, just pureness of my brain trying to find out and figure out the answers and the right questions to ask about all important things in life. And that's just the void. That really opens up the gateway to the void. But I, as a child, even now, I still in the shower will kind of just sit there and play out like fake scenarios in my head. Something impulsive, something crazy, something to give my life a little pizzazz or something. You know what I mean? Because every day feels like a repeat of the last. Um, and it's like we live for repeats so that the fun days can feel even more important. That one, vacation week you and your family get a year, or that trip to Florida you guys do once a year, like that's not what life's about. And I just think that some people are just so unconscious they can't see it, and it's upsetting. And I know some other people definitely feel the same way. That this is just not how life is supposed to feel and supposed to be. Yeah, and it sets you apart from everyone else. You just feel like you're in your own little world because you know more, because you see more than everyone else is seeing, and you just feel so alone, you know? Like you're just not in the right group sometimes. And my friends, they're amazing people, uh, always there to have fun, you know? But I know most of them don't see the world the same way I do, and it's kind of disheartening to, you know, even sometimes I'll bring something up one day. I'll be like, "Hey, do you guys feel like third person sometimes?" And they're all like, "What the fuck? What are you talking about?" And because I feel like it's just so, and the reason I feel that way, the reason I feel so just third person, and I think it's because I have just, thought about so much that everything feels like a repeat, and it's hard to explain. It just feels like you just thought about way too much. You just too much thoughts have went through your head. For you to have something original and something that isn't just a repeat, right? And I think that a lot of us who get this feeling don't, in a way they want to be alone, but in a way they also don't, because they know that this void, this nothingness, this empty derealization feeling might be coming around the corner. You know what I mean? Um, so these scenarios, in a way, I feel like give me that that kind of feeling that I want. I want, for some reason, I just want to be attacked by a dog, or I want someone to break in my house, or I want a fucking, like, a mountain lion to just like attack me while I'm hiking, or I want to save somebody. I want to do something, I want to have purpose. I want to fight for my life once, or uh, or fight for someone else's life, or I want to do a great feat, I want to have great recognition for something. And a lot of us stop trying at all for any of these things because we just realize that it's not going to happen. That's just not how life is. Um, and you may get to do some of these things, but they're just short moments. They're short lived moments, and you can't revolve your entire life around that. Even if it's what you want, you kind of just, you want something to happen, right? And in a way, I kind of envy wild animals because this may sound stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But in a way, I kind of envy wild animals because, in a sense, they die doing something. They die. They actually die with a little bit of purpose, right? They give something to something else. I sit and I think I don't want to die of old age. I want to die doing something. I want to die trying to do something for some sort of purpose. I don't just want to die in a hospital with my family surrounding me. And whereas I might feel nice or whatever for some people, for me, I just want to have purpose. And I think that's what a lot of us need and feel like we want, is purpose. And we feel like we can't find the right purpose. We may work in, policing and save lives and EMT, or serve your family, build your family up and make a great place for your family in your future. But a lot of us don't have some of those things, right? I do want a family and I want a future, but a lot of us don't have that. I don't have that yet, and I can't have that yet. So what do I do until then? I just feel hollow, and this void, you know, when my brain isn't preoccupied by fucking nicotine or video games or whatever the hell it might be, I'm just supposed to feel this way? That is that how it's supposed to be? It's not, you know. It's not. But the void feeling process is a lot of just like it's kind of like you think of something and the thought is, why did I think of that? To is that something that I want to happen? And that's enough to spin it into just a whirlwind of thoughts, and you just kind of get this feeling, and you're just like, how am I even in my brain thinking these things? And, you know, you just get it's just weird and eerie and void. It's just a void, you know. But yeah, I do want to have a family, and I want that to be my purpose, but I'm just not there yet. So what is my purpose now? My purpose can't be that because I don't know, like in my mind, I hate being fake, even to myself or others, or no matter what the cost is, for me, even if it's self-sacrifice, in my own mental state, just can't live in something I'm not currently. It's just not me. I can live in the future and think about the future and worry about the future, but like I can't make my purpose something that's really not even here yet. In a sense, to myself. And I think most smarter people, uh, and maybe conscious people as well, may not want to live in that fairy tale life. Um, and that's why a lot of us are negative, just so negative, always looking at the negatives because most of life isn't a positive, and that's just a simple fact. Someone could argue this, but I could find just as many negatives as you could positives in every scenario. And it really is, which one do you want to pick? But I can't bring myself to live in a fairy tale land and just be so positive about everything, right? It's just my own my own I guess self ego of knowing how smart I am knows how dumb that is. It's just in a sense my brain tells me that's for dumb people to live in a fairy tale land. Although, you know, and I do envy people who aren't conscious because they're able to, even when they have zero purpose and they're pretty they might even be a hindrance on society itself, they can still be happy with nothing and doing absolutely nothing. And in a sense, I think all smart and conscious people should envy this. Maybe it's something we all need to look at, and maybe really retard maxing is the way. Retard maxing could be the way, and possibly a lot of this is from spending too much time alone as a child and just having too much time to think. Um, and building that up into my adulthood, it's just like, especially as a child, we're always more susceptible to being a certain way from experiencing something as a child. We all know this. And maybe I think a lot of people who are like this maybe had a lot of alone time as a child, or always felt like they were the second pick, or whatever it may be. You maybe had an older brother or sister, and you felt like you were always second to them. Um, the most alive I do feel is with other people, but for some reason, I just want to be alone a lot of the time. Uh, I hate feeling desperate, and maybe that's another like ego conscious thing. Is that you notice these patterns and you see people and they talk a certain way or say certain things or act a certain way, and you can already tell. Sorry, drinking some water, but you can already tell why they're acting that way. You can already see it. why they are entering themselves into a conversation and saying something like that is because they're either desperate or they're in a lack of attention or they just want to fit in or whatever, and you don't want to look that way. But we all seem to forget that most people don't even see this. Most people aren't conscious enough to recognize the patterns. And you kind of sit there and you think everyone else is on the same page. And as a higher as someone who is of high intelligence, that is something that a lot of higher intelligence people do. Is they seem to forget that not the whole world is on the same perception or on the same conscious level as you are, and that people aren't perceiving things the same way you are. So it might just seem it's in a sense it's counterintuitive, right? You don't need to act a certain way to uh, gain the liking of certain people because most people, let's be honest, most people are retarded. Like you don't need to seek the jeez, you don't need to seek the liking of these people. So I think that's something a lot of us forget. A lot of us don't seem to realize or remember most of the time is that when we don't want to be a certain way because we don't want to, and I guarantee a lot of these people were quieter as a child or still are, and it's just a pattern. You know, you recognize a pattern. You don't want to be part of that pattern that you recognize all the time. But it's okay. Just retard max. And that's something I've been starting to kind of fall in line with. But the more I retard max, the it also seems like the less I just care about things. Like I just don't care as much about failing. So I'm in a kind of a predicament here. So I guess I kind of got to find a nice line, I guess, to find it. Um, and when you know, and when you think back as someone who has derealization, the only reason that we realize that we have it is because we know we didn't used to feel this way, or at least we think. And I'm at a time now where I know I didn't used to feel this way, but was it much different? Was it much different? That's like the question I keep having for myself is I know I didn't used to feel this way, but can I ever feel that way again? Can I ever feel like when I walk into a room, just the details of the room focus into my eyes and everything feels so real, you know? Maybe this is just a part of getting older and, having that high conscious intelligence helps see it for what it truly is more so. Because, these people tend to notice details and patterns more often than not in other people. But I think with this, I will say, um, stop watching the Donnie Darko movies. Stop watching American Psycho. Stop watching Taxi Driver. Stop watching all of these movies because I know the people out there who are watching them. They just constantly watch them because you feel some sort of connection to these people because you feel so, I guess, out of touch with the rest of the world. Not per se that you just want to fucking kill people or you are a psycho. It's just that we all, in a sense, these higher intelligence, higher conscious people feel some sort of connection to these characters because we are, in a sense, like a little bit, you know, we feel a little bit of a connection and feel a little bit of what they're feeling. Just being alone, just feeling like you're alone. But yeah, um, derealization, it's real. Can you ever get out of it? Probably not, but maybe, and that's all I hope and think about is that someday I just click out of it. The situation I'm at right now with work and everything obviously makes it a lot worse. I just feel like a whole lot of nothingness. Uh, but yeah, let me see. I don't think I have any more points to make other than that. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the sad reality of it all is that you want to brag about seeing things for what they really are, but the price of it all is disassociation with the rest of the world and kind of feeling a little bit more alone than most people and because you see things for what they are and because you have a stronger opinion about life itself and trying to find the purpose in it all. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. Peace.